Hello, internet friends. I am here to tell you today that I finished a journal yesterday. And I keep my journals in Moleskines. I have a bunch of them. Journals from the past few years. And whenever I finish one, it's a really exciting day for me because I get to go out to the store and buy a new Moleskine. So I did that yesterday. Here's my blue one. And I don't usually go back and look at old journals of mine because I find that most of the value I receive from journaling just comes from the act of getting my thoughts down on paper. After doing this for a while, I just know that I'm a happier person when I get my thoughts down on paper in the morning. But for whatever reason, this time I did decide to go back and look at a page of a journal. And I opened it up and it said parkour day. Awesome. I love parkour. And then I saw I tweaked my back on this day pretty badly. And at the bottom of this journal entry, at this old journal, I wrote, note, do not do new taxing stuff when sore. And then I wrote, I delayed my recovery. Now, I remember this day really well because number one, it was a particularly bad back tweak, but I also remember I went into this session of parkour really sore from workouts that I had been doing earlier that week, and I just didn't let myself recover from those workouts before trying parkour, which is not something I'm super familiar with. I'm just getting started with it. The result of this was me tweaking my back really badly. I couldn't train for days. It affected my daily life. Sitting and standing was a bummer. Terrible. And it was avoidable. And something I've been thinking a lot of recently, which this journal kindly reminded me of, is just your tendencies or your biases, how the decisions that you tend to make in everyday life that don't necessarily serve you. As an example, some of my tendencies related to training and practicing are just doing too much work and not resting enough. This day that I was describing in my journal is a perfect example. I could have just rested a couple more days in preparation for this session and probably wouldn't have had that tweak. This shows up in my training all the time these days. Usually in my training, I'll get to the end of a session and I'll be thinking, and I'm tired, that, okay, I just want to do a few more sets, a few more reps of this, get more tired and more exhausted, and that's going to mean it's a better workout for me. But after making this mistake of doing too much work many times and hurting myself, my actual instinct now, and this is recent, only in the past 6 months, is when I think, okay, I just want to do a few more sets, get a little more tired, another voice in my head is like, great, time to stop. You can hit this again tomorrow or next week or next training session. That has been a fundamental change in my approach to training, and this same thing happens in trombone. Let me just run through this passage a few more times, even though I'm a little fatigued. Great. Stop today, take some time off, or just take a few hours off and try this little section of practice again a little later after you are rested. Another way this has shown up is I used to really think I needed to train a certain amount of days a week. Specifically, I used to train my upper body 3 days a week, and now I'm down to training it 2 days a week. That changed everything for me. I have been generally feeling better, I'm in less pain, and life is more enjoyable when you're out of pain. Surprise, surprise. So my question to you is, what is your tendency? When left to your own devices, do you tend to work too hard, do too much, or maybe you tend to work not enough and do too little? It's helpful to identify that because in those moments when you're having the thought, okay, I'm working hard and I want to keep working, might be a time to signal to yourself, well, maybe I could just stop working. Or if you kind of come from the other side of things, maybe it's like, I've done enough for today. It could be a time when maybe I should give it that extra 10 minutes or those extra sets, or I should get to the gym today because I know my tendency is to not get to the gym enough. So these are just a couple thoughts I had about where you tend towards and the biases that you have, and I hope you can reflect on it and let me know if you have any questions or thoughts about it. Thanks.